Southern Comfort and Coke. On ice. Feeling real nice. Oh, I'm rhyming. That's when you know we're feeling good. NASCAR is officially back. Ryan Preece with a dub. We're feeling nice. You're looking good. I'm feeling good. If you're on the YouTube, you can currently tell I'm hyped because I got my Tigers outfit on. I got the Detroit Tigers hat on. I got the Scooble jersey on. We got a lot to talk about, whether it's the Clash race, Carson Hocevar getting paid a bag, Detroit Tigers stuff I'm going to touch on first because as a baseball fan, as a Tigers fan, it's been an emotional roller coaster over the last few months, definitely in the offseason. And I just want to touch on it a little bit because that's what I want to talk about, okay? And then we'll get into the NASCAR stuff. But first off, get the nonsense out of the way like we always do on a weekly basis and get yourselves excited because the Hot Pass podcast is going to be in full swing next week, all right? Tuesday show, kind of getting everything ready for Daytona, getting all ready, recouping any sort of action that happens over this coming weekend, over Super Bowl weekend, or on Monday morning, getting ready to Speed Week. If there's any announcements or paint schemes or T-shirts and everything like that, we'll have a Tuesday episode, and then on Thursday, we will have our full-on betting card for the dual clash race, the duels, Daytona dual races. Good Lord, I got the Clash on my fucking mind. The dual race. And then the Truck Series, O'Reilly Series, and Cup Series. So nailed the O'Reilly part of that. So next week's going to be crazy. So you're going to want to go to Eric Furlong 21 on Instagram. We had a real pop-off this week, okay, about Ryan Williams dropping that Connor Zilic stuff last week. And Dale Jr. liked the post. Connor Zilic commented and liked it, and it hit. We're almost at 8K views and over 400 likes. Killing it on Instagram. So go to Eric Furlong 21 on Instagram. Please go follow me there and share and repost all my stuff on there. Really helps get a lot more viewers. Appreciate that. Go over to Twitter. Okay, these are the two main ones you should be following. Twitter, at Furlong Eric, __ on Twitter. Reason why, you see all my nonsense that I say on there, right? All the nonsense, all the crazy stuff, as well as on Instagram and Twitter /X. An hour before the Truck Series and O'Reilly Series races, I will post my full betting picks, my full betting card every single week. All right? It's usually an hour or 2 hours, depending on when the lines get back up. Sometimes it'll be last minute. It'll be half an hour before, right? But it all depends on how the books pump out the lines after practice and qualifying. Usually O'Reilly Series can be a little tight. Definitely when the Truck Series is on Saturdays around noon and they practice and qualify super early in the morning, sometimes the books are a little silly. But if you go follow me, Furlong Eric __ on X, and then Eric Furlong 21 on Instagram, you can go and get that shit done. And then go to TikTok, Furlong Eric __ on there, and then go to the Action Network. Link is in the bio wherever you find me. All the Cup Series bets. We almost had Ryan Blaney at the Clash race, and obviously Ryan Preece won. Nobody had that, and if they did, they've edited their photos. Okay. Yeah, and then Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. If you're watching it right now, it's been popping off. All right. I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast, leaving 5-star ratings on the audio podcast. I appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. Clash rate or Detroit Tigers. Let's just touch on this quick. If you're not a baseball fan, skip over to the skip ahead to the Clash race recap. That'll be in a couple of minutes here. But I just want to talk about something here. All right, everybody hates the LA Dodgers. Everybody was loving the Blue Jays in the fall. Everybody was rooting against the Dodgers, right? But there was a little team about 3 hours south of Toronto that hasn't won a championship since the 80s. Everybody's talking about, this is Canada's team. Get the hell out of here. I don't care. I could care less about Canada's team, and I live in Canada. The most frustrating part about the Blue Jays was everybody all of a sudden decided, like, oh, I'm a fan. I've been a fan. I've always been a fan. Number one fan. Couldn't name Roy Halladay. Couldn't name Vernon Wells. Could barely name Jose Bautista with the bat flip. That's the only thing that they have, right? And I'm sitting there as a Tigers fan, formerly a Jays fan when I was a kid. Very upset. very upset about how we played. And then now we're going to the offseason and Tarek Skubal wants more money and we got to sign him. And we haven't. So he wins his arbitration. If you guys don't know what arbitration is in baseball, let's go look it up. It's very confusing. I honestly think it's fucking stupid. But he gets absolutely fucking paid at the time of recording this. Okay? And we signed Valdez. Now he's got an attitude problem. Don't care. I want that dog. Skubal's got that dog in him. Arr. Now, all I want to say, the rest on or anything else on this Tiger stuff is that we need to sign 2 bats. 2 bats, and we're winning the World Series. I'm calling it right now. Now, there was a 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was a somebody like a guy that has predicted like every World Series winner in the last like 20 years or something like that, 30 years. I don't know if he's been on the Dodgers stuff, but like he said in 2026, the Tigers are winning the World Series. Now in 2024, I'm fairly certain I saw this. I said, there's no shot because we suck. And then at the end of 2024, we went on that crazy ass run with less than less than 0.2%. Maybe it was 0.2% to make the playoffs, and we do it. Then we go to the playoffs this year. Then we beat the Guardians, and then we get to the ALDS, and then we lose. But we could have made it to the ALCS, put up a better fight than the Mariners, and would have made it to the World Series. So now I'm like, oh, the shit, that could happen. And then that Valdez signing, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. So we have a baseball here for a fucking reason because I got it at a Tigers game. So looks like this year I need to get my shit signed by Skubal because he's going to be gone. But anyways, I digress. We're like 7 minutes in. Let's move on. Clash stuff. Silly ass race, right? Dumb race. Over it. I did a live stream on TikTok and thought, oh, we'll do a live stream. It's probably going to be like a 2-hour race. It should be fine. I knew there was a bit of precipitation in the forecast. And I said, I highly regret doing this about midway through. Great idea, obviously, as like any short track in like, late models and stuff. Like when the caution comes out, they don't count down the laps because it just would ruin the race, right? And you just be caution after caution and you just lose majority of the race. But after a while, I was like, can we just start counting these laps? Once that weather came, man, honestly, when it was dry, Ryan Blaney was coming to win. So I nailed that right on the head. But then once that sleet, the hail, whatever you want to call it, snow basically. When they said sleet, I was like, that is some American ass shit. I've never used that. You just go hail or snow. It's wet snow. It's just really, really wet snow. It's just on the cusp of freezing. Okay? So whatever they want to call it. I think it was a horrible race. Now, of course, immediately, this race has all NASCAR fans once again crying, bitching, and complaining about. I saw a post on Twitter, the dumbest thing, saying like, man, like the people. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna try and find it here because it was actually the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I just went, really? Like, this is your take on the race or whatever. I'm going to just put this baseball down here because I was laughing. I was just like, this is your take on the race. I don't know why it's taking fucking forever to load here. Of course, when I do the podcast, it takes fucking forever to load, but let's just pull it up here. Can I go to home? Can I go to my profile? I would much appreciate that. Let's go over to my Twitter at @FurlongEric__. Guy said after the race, or during the race, quote, that crowd is sad. This race is supposed to be in the heart of NASCAR country, isn't it? NASCAR at a local track at that. Yes, I know weather and postponed schedule, but still, come on, NASCAR. Like, bro, you just named off literally the reasons why like nobody was there. If it was Sunday, it would have been packed. The vibes would have been high. But it's literally the weather, postponed schedule. That's the reason why there was nobody there. It was also middle of the fucking week on a work night. And it had precipitation in the forecast. People come from all over the place to go to that Clash race, and then it gets canceled the day before. So obviously people can't go. It was stupid. Now, people saying this, the fact that there are even people saying this out there just shows how dumb NASCAR fans really can be at times. Just the worst, most uneducated takes. And now people are calling for NASCAR's head with the Clash and saying we should just do it on Speed Week. We shouldn't be there. Last year, you enjoyed it so much. You're like, we got to bring it back next year. We're keeping it in here forever. One time you get really ice cold weather. Like last year was cold, right? Last year was very, very cold. We just didn't have snow. This is the most snow that they've had in decades, probably, right? I don't know exactly, but this is the most snow they've had in a short amount of time in decades. And now we're just like, fuck the Clash race. It's over. Move it to Florida. Shut up. And it only ignites the fire to the people that always love those speed weeks. Now, we all loved the speed weeks back in the day and doing that Clash race down there, but times have changed, and too bad, so sad. We're not doing it. I think being at the Clash race, keeping it close to home in the Carolinas, right? In North Carolina, up in Winston-Salem, like what's wrong with that? 1 year, dude, weather happens. Now, I think you're being all too negative Nancy's now, where all of a sudden now we're going to be in trouble. Now, because you got mad at Mother Nature, the rest of the year, we're getting a lot of rain delays. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. I'm all about good vibes. Now, the race last night, I can complain about the race itself, but I ain't going to complain about the lack of merch that was probably there, right? They had, I think, one trailer. All the weepers on the outside of the track, right? Or because of the snow or whatever on the outside of the barrier, we had some weepers. I'm not going to complain about that. You can't complain about the crowd, and so on and so forth. And I think it's just a silly takes that NASCAR Twitter is some of the most toxic. They talk about UFC is some of the fastest and quickest moving sports where everybody just kind of moves on every week. NASCAR's up there as well. That we literally, in a few weeks, will go, Clash race was stupid, but let's have it there next week. This is what I'm focusing on this week with Atlanta, how bad it was, or Martinsville in the new car, the horsepower and the tires and stuff. So once we get to Bristol, we'll just completely forget about the Clash race. It'll be all over. Bristol and Martinsville, we'll just forget about it because we're all going to be focused on the horsepower in the car. And I think last night, we didn't get to really focus on that as well. That's a good point by me. Shouts out me. Is we didn't even get to really focus on the horsepower and the tire because we got wet weather. Now, I do like this race because it really fuels the fire in competition super early on, right? God, my eyes are heavy. Jesus Lord. I need another sip of this, boy. It gets you excited. Now, I understand money-wise for teams, it's really just lighting your shit up in flames, right? Now, the lower teams don't even make that the final race. So they're not really losing money. It's the teams that probably can afford it that are making the final race that can afford to bust up stuff. You have sponsorships for a reason. Whatever. So it really starts to fuel a lot of fire, bring up old memories with each other. I did say going into this race, though, that Kyle Larson does get pushed around a lot in these races, and that sure as hell, that's what happened. It gets the juices flowing. Then they have to sit on it for another week. Now, I guess a week and a half. Usually 2 weeks, but a week and a half. And then they go to Daytona. And then we're full on into the schedule right away. Boom, let's go. So I like the Clash. I like the short track racing. Let's keep it at Bowman Gray. I think it's great. Now, let's talk about the Fox broadcast. The last chance qualifier race. I don't know if anybody saw that, but at the end of the race, when you have a three-way battle, what was it, between Corey LaJoie in the 6, Austin Cindric in the 2, and AJ Allmendinger hanging off in the back in the 16 there, they kept, dude, you're telling me you can't do a side-by-side, Fox? You can't do a side-by-side of Josh Berry crossing the start-finish line and then have the other screen showing the three-way battle for the second spot or the transfer spot, right? The second transfer spot. You're telling me that you can't edit that and have two screens going rather than going full screen to Josh Berry, and then when they're entering like turn 1 or turn 3, and they're all beating and banging for that second transfer spot, you have to flick back all of a sudden from a full screen shot with Josh Berry. Who is editing this stuff? Fox ultimately continuously fails. And they didn't keep the excitement. I know after a while with the Clash race and the rain and everything, it gets boring. But there was no sustenance to this fucking broadcast. There was no fuel to the fire. There was no juice. And it was just lackluster. Again, Fox continues to do this to us, where we have to sit through absolute nonsense of a broadcast. I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. Now they're starting to listen to us with Jamie Little getting substituted out with Brett Stover and Eric Brennan? Is that what their names are? From ARCA and the Car Steward for the Truck Series. Doing the broadcast for the Truck Series. And so they're listening to that. But those three in the broadcast booth, I'm sorry, Mike Joy, step down, please, for the love of God. Clint Boyer, stop talking, get out of there. And Kevin Harvick, yes, you have in-car experience with this Gen 7 for what, like a year or two. You're giving us nothing as well. I think Fox should pay the hell out of Eric Brennan and Brett Stover and get them into the Cup Series. Please. I made a reel and put it on my Instagram and my TikTok earlier this week that the calls for F1 are unbelievable. There is no passing. They continue to give you some sort of they give you something during the race. If it's a pass for 16th, they're screaming about it. Max Verstappen or Lando Norris could be up 30 seconds on the second place guy. And they still feel like they give you that shot of, they might still have a chance in second place. There might be a caution. And they are screaming in the microphone, excited for an hour and a half. Now, I get it. Our races are 3 hours, sometimes 4 for the Coke 600. But you catch my drift. Where those guys can continuously give you info. They're tossing it to the pit reporters. The pit report. It always seems like damn amateur hour with NASCAR. And going into Daytona, whether they just do the side-by-side racing and nobody's passing and we just ride single file, 2x2, probably 3x3 at this point, and just nobody passes and we just kind of sit around there until the final stage. You know what we're getting on the broadcast, right? The drivers themselves aren't helping us, but I think the broadcast should bring some sort of excitement. Rather than Clint Boyer saying his silly little tongues, right? His silly little words. Kevin Harvick just kind of pop it in there and saying, I think, dude, enough. You give us nothing. No excitement. It's like they're sitting on their couch. They should do the broadcast from home. Because they could be intoxicated and they could sit at home and have some sort of excitement if something goes on. It's god awful, man. And now, because Eric Brennan and Brett Stover are coming up for the Truck Series, and then you have the CW doing a great broadcast on Saturdays for the O'Reilly Series. We have to go from Friday to Saturday with probably pretty solid broadcast. I think Jamie Little is in for the Daytona race. But you get solid broadcasts with those guys that are coming up in the Truck Series in the broadcast booth. Then you have Saturday, you have a great broadcast. And then all of a sudden Sunday, the elite of the elite is a fucking snooze fest. And I'm tired of it. And we all are. And we should ask for more out of them. I don't know what else to say. we need to hire some young talent, man. And that's why I'm excited for Eric Brennan and Brett Stover. But we need some other young guys that are excited. They know what they're talking about. They're excited and they have passion. It honestly feels like Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, and Kevin Harvick have just been around the track for so long. And they're so pumped with PR into their brains, their PR brains, from either being in a car or being on a broadcast all the time, that they're afraid to say certain things and they feel robotic, you know? And I'm tired of it. I really am. And we all pray to get to that middle of the season. We all sing praises and a bunch of hallelujahs. If you don't go to church, we go to church on that Sunday before the race when it switches over to NBC, and we say, thank you, God, for bringing us NBC. Thank you, God, for bringing us Amazon. And I still have a bit of a tiff with NBC for letting go of Dale Jr. and us only getting him for a few races in the summertime with Amazon. And you see what Amazon brings as well, doing the post-race stuff at the track. It's amazing. Fox gives you fucking nothing. Nothing. And even when at the Clash race, when there was a lot of rain going on, like, they went to the pit reporters and it was like so cringy, so awkward. It's like they didn't know what to say. At least with the NFL, these people are professionals. They take notes. They're prepared. And even if they actually have say the desk comes to them out of nowhere and asks them a random question, they're ready to go. They're ready to fire. But man, with Fox, it's horrible. All right, so enough of that. That's what I think we should really be discussing rather than the crowds and how bad the race was so bad. Obviously, I love the Daniel Suarez. My favorite part about Daniel Suarez that night was getting in with Bubba Wallace and they're best friends. And then Daniel after's like, it was a misunderstanding or whatever. It's like, yes, because they're your best friends. So I was loving the fact that they were going at each other and getting mad at each other. Because that's just what happens, when you get behind the steering wheel, but you're also like, it's your best fucking friend. You're like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Don't bump into me. I don't want to bump into you. And brake checking each other. It was so much fun. So, yeah. So, I went on a bit of a rant. That's my bad, guys. But, I got some other notes here. Let's talk about this that came out just before the Clash race. Denny Hamlin busts up his shoulder that I think he said he already injured before, right? We already knew about that. And now he's not going to be able to get it worked on till after the season now. Boy, oh boy. That's going to take a hindrance. Once you get into obviously the first few weeks, he should be all right. I shouldn't say that. When you first get an injury, and even when it's like when you first start working out again, right? And the first few days, first few weeks, you're really fucking hurting. I don't want to go. You just got to go and you got to push through it. He might get that with this, right? But man, after the 10 weeks, 3-4 months, same thing, driving left. I don't know why I was turning the steering wheel to the right. We got rid of the Roval. I actually should probably talk about that, huh? But anywho, after 3-4 months of doing the same repetitive, he is going to be hurting, man. That shoulder is going to be busted up. There's going to be a bunch of scar tissue and so on and so forth. I ain't no doctor. Shouts out. Would you trust a doctor with a face tattoo? He's probably electrifying. That fucking guy, he gets shit done. I would trust him. But I think that's going to really do that summer. Whoa. Golly, it could be bad for Denny, man. I don't think he's going to win a championship. Being consistent and, man, if he wrecks really hard at Daytona or something and he hurts his shoulder even more, he might be sidelined. That's something I would worry about. I just wanted to touch on that because that was a very interesting news. We'll talk about the Oval quick. The Roval was gone. And then we'll talk about some other news. The Oval being back. Now, this is one thing I really want to touch on. I listened to the Dale Jr. download from earlier on in the week, and obviously Dale Jr. wasn't on it, so his sister was on there, right? And so they interviewed Marcus Smith. And Marcus Smith gives us the most PR bullshit nonsense, okay? Saying there's this girl, Jessica, and then they're like, oh, she's so smart. And Jessica came to me, and she works with Marcus Smith's like company or whatever, right? Comes up to her, maybe comes up to her, and Mark, maybe we should bring back the Oval and get rid of the Roval. And then he goes, so she said that to me, and I went to our team and said, what should we do, guys? He said, what do the fans want? Like, buddy, have you not been listening this entire freaking time? For the last, 2 or 3 years, even Dale Jr.'s probably said it to you. Get rid of the Roval. And I think, dude, the fact that you didn't immediately get rid of it after the boring-ass race that I was at in the fall, at Charlotte, at the Roval, and you guys were going to keep it? Are you guys freaking high? Like, you don't listen. This shows that NASCAR executives, track owners, they do not listen to the people. The fact that you had to be like, somebody had to finally, I'm sure she should have just went in there and like, dude, enough of this Roval. This is dog crap. Rather than, she might have done that. Because he finally freaking smartened up and listened. God, because we're all sitting there like, dude, get rid of this crap. I honestly think it's fun with the O'Reilly series and the truck series. It's a lot of fun because a lot of guys are just figuring it all out, right? But the Cup series, obviously we have SVG and so on and so forth, but like it wasn't a good race before then with the Gen 7 car, right? All the road courses are so bad right now. And they had the audacity to not even listen to us. Take notes. Think about it. And it was funny to hear Dale's sister go, hey, like Dale was right again. Dale was right again there. Dale was right again there. Dale started North Wilkesboro, brought it back. Like it's all Dale's ideas here. And she would always joke about how maybe you should listen to Dale more. You think? It's like the guy knows a thing or two about racing and listens to the fans, and he does these live shows, and he does his podcast, he reads social media, and then Marcus Smith, and then you go to the NASCAR executives themselves, and nobody cares about us and what we have to watch. And you wonder why views are dwindling down year over year, race after race, and we sit here and we're screaming, giving you ideas. You don't have to listen to all of them because obviously a lot of them are chaotic and fucking stupid, but at least take some of our advice. Take some of what because when we have to sit here and we're not at the track, we're not in a box, we're not drinking champagne and margaritas and going on private trips and all this stuff all the time and making hundreds of thousands of dollars, where we work 40, 60 hours a week, whatever you do for work, and you're working and busting your ass off all day, and then on Sunday, the nice day, it's relaxing, it's a summer, and you can't get to the track, but you want to sit and watch it on TV, but all you're getting is a friggin' crappy Roval? You should start listening to us, because we're not going to tune in. And the numbers for the Roval, I think, were horrible. So I'm happy they're bringing the Oval back. And honestly, I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to the May 2-4 race this year because what was I doing? I'm going obviously to Michigan. I'm going to Michigan. I'm already hitting Atlanta and Darlington. Oh, because earlier on in May is Watkins Glen. That's why I'm not going. I've also been to the last two times, the last two Coke 600s. I'm going to be really sad. Believe me, when the time comes, and that race comes around and I'm not there, unless somebody invites me to come down and stay with them, and they got a spot at the track or whatever, I'll come down. But I'm thinking I'll do the the fall race. I'll be able to hang out with my boy Jared. It'll be a lot more tame of a weekend. I'll actually get a good oval race out of it, which I'd be really excited to do. And then it'll be the first oval race in the fall, so it'll be really exciting. Everybody's having a good time. And then I could kind of like separate some dates, right? Because it'll just be, I can't go back to back races early on in the early summer there, right? So because I also got invited from my buddy's son, they're going to the Chicagoland race. So I got invited to go to that, and so I'm hitting up the Chicagoland race. So I'll see you guys there. I'm going to try and do a lot of content for that. So there's a lot in the summertime, so I'm trying to like take it easy at the beginning of the year. Don't go too crazy with a bunch of races, and then slam a bunch in the summertime close to where I live in Canada, and then in the fall maybe go to one more, which would be the oval. So I'm really excited for that. We all love the ovals. I think it just helps out. Dude, if we had the playoff system still and we had that in there, we'd be like, all right, keep the playoff system. We've got an oval in there. The Roval just killed it. Don't actually bring the playoffs back, please, for the love of God. Yeah, I'm just super excited about that. But then other news, dude, let's talk about this guy. Now, I have thought about this for a bit and said Alex Bowman's in the hot seat. This guy's going to go to Alex Bowman's seat in the 48. But no. Spire Motorsports locks up Carson Hocevar into early of the next decade. Okay, so 2030 something. He's signed to Spire. I mean, we saw the speed before all like the rain came out and everything that Carson Hocevar was flying, getting through all the wrecks. Once again, obviously gets caught in the wreck, but I also blame a lot of the rain and the water and all that shit. The sleet, as they like to say. But Carson Hocevar signing to Spire Motorsports until the next decade is absolutely ginormous. That kid got paid a bag. Now, he's been driving that Dale car to the track. I want to see driving it up in a Bugatti. I want you to just go full heel. Now that you have absolutely, because I'm sure Spire paid him an absolute bag. We know they've got money. They're paying top tier for crew members, crew chiefs, and so on and so forth. And now they've got a driver that takes out of all three of their cars, the other two cars, back markers. Absolutely crap. We love Michael McDowell. We love Daniel Suarez. But let me tell you, Carson Hocevar can drive that thing to the front. Keep an eye on him on 1.5 miles this year. Keep an eye on him on a lot of tracks. And this guy has got the funding. He's got the bag now. And now he just can go and drive and go win races and turn full heel. Show up in a Bugatti. Show up in a Corvette. I want to see it all. Whip it. I want to see you show up in an old Dale Sr. Cup Series car and just roll up stunting on them. That's what I want to see. Intimidator glasses on, mustache. You probably can't grow a mustache, but mustache, and just roll up on them. Because man, oh man, that kid just got the bag. To stay with Spire, the offers I'm sure he could have gotten from other teams and the money they were willing to pay, it must have been good, and he's staying loyal. So you got to give it to Carson Hocevar. The opportunity he was given in the Cup Series from Spire. Spire saw the talent, and now to stay with the team that got you up to the Cup Series, to give you that opportunity, and now you're going to make something of that team and grow with them. I love that from Carson Hocevar. Hate him or love him, you got to give a pat on the back to Carson Hocevar on this one. All right, so. Big things for Spire. After seeing what was going on, if he could just put a good race together. Now he's got a few years to do it. But by the end of I would like to ask people by the end of his contract early on into the next decade, what do we see with Carson Hocevar? How many wins do we get out of him? I feel like a few. He is on the precipice. Michigan, he ends up blowing a tire or wrecks or whatever. The Coke 600, he was humming there too. So keep an eye specifically on those two races. I'm very excited to see it, man. And last week we did touch that he's in the Daytona race in a Best Buy car or truck. So I'm very excited for that too. Carson Hocevar, I think he needs to get somebody to do better. Obviously, he does his own social media, with the live streaming and everything like that. But he needs a really good photographer, a really good. I think he does. Obviously, Spire. I've met a couple of people at Spire. It's no hate on them, right? I'm not hating on you guys. I'm just saying his personal Instagram, what he's doing right now is great. But if they could get really, man. I want him and Connor Zilic would be so much fun. And the Chevy crew being on social media together. But Hocevar doesn't fucking have any friends at the track, so to each their own, I guess. Silly Zilly there, he was having a good time at the Clash race and almost he was doing really well in about the middle of that race when all the chaos started going on. So I'd like to see that for him. What other notes do we got, baby? And then Cletus McFarland driving the number 4 Nice Motorsports truck. Don't expect much. It is the truck race. He still, I think, has to do the like a test or whatever at, what was it? Gateway or no, not Gateway, Richmond or something like that or whatever. I can't remember what it was. I don't think I'm right on that. But he's got to do a test or whatever to see if he's eligible, but they're going to let him. There's a lot of money coming in behind him. So that'll be interesting, man. So that means we've got Carson Hocevar, Tony Stewart, Cletus McFarland, Travis Pastrana on its own. Then for the O'Reilly series, you get Gio Ruggiero and the number 19 JGR car. Very excited for that as well, too. That just came. Picked that out of the air. Put that into my mind. Came out of my mouth. Just remembered it. Had bad notes this week. That's my bad, guy. So if I'm forgetting anything, you let me know. On the other note, to finish up the podcast, one thing, and then I'll say another thing. Betting odds, we'll go into championship picks for Truck Series next week, probably on the Tuesday show, as well as the O'Reilly series, and then we'll get into everything with Speed Week, right? Very excited for that. This year, I just want to also say this. I was talking so much crap for so long about Trackhouse and their merch, and I'm going to mention it again with Ryan Williams. The Trackhouse and the merch has always been kind of poopy, right? For the most part, wasn't very good. And now once they have noticed, I feel like a lot of teams have noticed, people want good merch, people want flashy stuff, they want classic styles, and you got Harris Lou and Ryan Williams just continuously pumping the stuff out. So I didn't even talk about Ryan Preece winning the race. Congratulations, Ryan Preece. That was very rude of me not to congratulate you. I was very excited for him. That's why you take good notes, Eric. This is not a good week for that. Because Harris Lou is probably going to come out with, he does a lot of stuff with RFK, works really close with RFK with their merch. He's probably going to come out with a fire-ass t-shirt and make us broke. Ryan Williams has made us broke with Trackhouse stuff because Trackhouse is finally stepping up and seeing the talent out there in the NASCAR world with merch. I'm so excited for this year. I'm going to try, when I go to Atlanta in 2 weeks here, I'm going to try and do some fits at the track and to see what merch. I don't want to buy too much because I don't want to go broke. You know what I'm saying? The economy's bad, as we said in that one video. But I'm going to probably try and do some fit videos, show you guys what brand new merch is out there available at the tracks. I'll buy a couple of pieces, and then in a few weeks after, I'll be in Darlington anyway, so I'll pick out maybe a few more pieces then. The closet's getting kind of full. I got to filter through that, so can't buy too much. But my favorites, I'm probably going to have to buy that Connor Zilic Red Bull t-shirt, as well as the Raja one off the Junior Motorsports truck, and then we'll see what else is out there, right? So that's the podcast. I feel like that was a good one. It was good, solid, about 40 minutes. We're feeling good. We're feeling nice. Little light. Keep it fun. Keep it fresh. We got hot on there a little bit. I'm sweating in here right now, recording the podcast. Appreciate everybody that's been listening to audio. Our numbers have been a little down with the audio, but the YouTube has been killing it. So go over to both, right? Go over to the Spotify, the Apple, and leave wherever you get your audio podcast, leave a 5-star rating. Just go in there, listen to it. I have it monetized. So anytime you guys listen, you share the podcast, and you leave that 5-star rating, it gets it to more people. Also helps me be able to make a little bit of money on this podcast so we can go and continuously make a bit more content. So I really do appreciate that. It's not all about money. I truly love doing this podcast and you guys tuning in and all the love I've been getting. So I appreciate that. So go leave a 5-star rating over on Spotify and Apple. Leave a review. Always 5 stars, baby. Go to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Share, like, subscribe to the podcast. You guys have been killing it on YouTube. You guys love seeing this beautiful face with the Tigers jersey, the face tattoos, the finger tattoos. You love the vibe. So go to the YouTube, Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Share, like, subscribe, obviously. Then go to @FurlongEric__ on TikTok and X. Make sure, because Truck Series and O'Reilly Series bets, betting cards, full on X and my Instagram @EricFurlong21. Always an hour before those races start, so the full betting card will be available. Then go to the link in the bio as well. Wherever you find me, go to the Action Network. You can see my early on the week Cup Series plays. Every single week, we're about 200 units all time across all sports on the Action Network, so make sure to go follow me there. And then, yeah, baby, that's been the podcast. I got 2 more Speed Week next week, and then the weekend after, the Thursday before the Atlanta week or race weekend, I will be flying on down to Atlanta. I get to go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, hopefully for the first time. Go get a nice Atlanta Falcons jersey, Bijan Robinson. Okay, because that's my fucking team. Get to actually see the city for the first time. My boy Clinton's better half's parents are coming down, so we're going to have a little bit of a smoked pork butt, right? And then we're going to have a couple of drinks, and Saturday we'll be at the race. So if you're at the race in Atlanta, make sure to go hit me up on all my social media platforms, and I will message you back, and we'll have a couple of drinks. Well, let's go watch the truck race, the O'Reilly Series race, and let's vibe, baby. It's vibe. All right? And pray to God it's warm down there, because in Canada, I've been freezing my tootsies off. So that's been the Hot Pass Podcast. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Please keep liking all the content. I love you guys. And have a great weekend. All right? Go Seahawks. Fuck the Patriots. And we'll see you guys on Speed Week. Peace.